role, and I think this is specifically, kind of relevant to sort of the vision to actual executions part of the startup history. Now, everyone here, I think you've got very diverse backgrounds, and there's kind of this industry trend, especially in the startup world, where it's really kind of hard to put people in a box of like you're an interaction designer, you're a visual designer. Design comes from a lot of different places in these companies, and so the question for you guys is, what is a designer's role? Like, what does a designer do at a startup? And I'm using the term very loosely right now. So let's just kind of go down the line, Alexa.
So I think that's actually what I had started to speak to already in the previous question, was just that the most important thing that a designer can do is communicate the vision. And you can do that through your sketches, you can do that through full comps and mock-ups, and things like the FoodSpotting 3V design, which we just launched in February. I was actually working on visual comps for that December of last year. And I remember people were telling me at last South by, I was telling them about this Pandora-like redesign that was coming out. But people were excited about that on our team. Our investors were excited about that vision long before we were able to start working on it in development. And so I think, again, the most important thing a founder can do is communicate those ideas clearly. I love the book Ideas That Stick, and it talks about kind of the characteristics of a powerful idea. I really recommend that to any designer.
Cool. How about you, Alex?
I think going back to the previous question a little bit, I think it's taking the vision and also having an understanding of how things technically work to be able to design an interface and design a product that communicates it simply. And that's both the visual side of things, but it's also like, how do you think about the product? Like for us, something like badges and points is a mechanic that we use to get people comfortable with the stuff that we were building and get into using the product. And for them, they were very excited about like getting the pizza badge. And to do that, you go to 25 different pizza places. But that's an experience that was designed to get them to try out 25 different pizza places. And having that experience is actually what creates the bond between the user and our product. And so the badge and the eye candy is not an end of itself. Like the end is the experience that people have. And I think being able to design things like that to make your product more easily understandable is a big role that the designer plays.
And so Mike, you guys are interesting because you ran very lean for a long time. I mean, arguably still, right? There's what, 11, 12 of you now? And so for a while, it was you and Kevin basically doing everything from code to design, right? You're kind of trading off that role. So I'd love to hear about the design role in general, but also you're bringing on designers now, so like how that kind of changes your culture and your process of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what was great early on was the iteration loop was basically it was as tight as it could get. There's two people. Kevin's stronger on the visual design side, but I'm faster on implementation. So we'd have a conversation and then start knocking up ideas, building them out. And now as you build the team out, we have a designer in the Netherlands, and then now there's a time zone difference to worry about. And those kind of it makes you a little bit slower, but in the end, I really believe it makes you faster because obviously we don't have 24 hours to design anymore, and we're doing all sorts of other crazy stuff. So to the extent that you can start communicating, the way I think we've scaled our team that I'm really happy about is people, employees 1 through 10, we've tried to make them designers too as much as possible. Like whether they're designing the community experience for Instagram, or designing events and designing the interaction that they have with us as a company, or designing the product itself, or designing our code. So I know I'm overusing the word design a little bit, but I really believe that having the notion of craft in there early on really sets the tone for your company going forward.